Welcome back, Sparkies. It's time to take out your SkyStormer handbooks. Today we're going to start Green Jewel 2 Missionary Activities, and we're going to do section 2.1 and 2.2 together.
Hey Jacob, what are you doing?
I'm writing a letter to our Awana missionary.
Awana missionary? I didn't know we had one. What does our missionary do?
He helps churches start Awana clubs so more boys and girls can learn about Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's great! So what country does our missionary work in?
He works in our own country. In fact, he works right here in our town.
What? I thought missionaries had to work far away in other countries. My dad's a missionary, and he flies all over the world in his plane.
Your handbook says to ask your Sparks leader to tell you about the Awana missionary in your area. The missionaries who help us at Baptist Fellowship are named Mark and Pat DeCoy, and they live in New York, which is part of North America in the United States. So when they come to help our club, it does take them a couple of hours to get to us, not like the one in the story that lived in the same town. They cover a very, very large area across New England and New York, and I think even Pennsylvania. So they do a lot of driving when it's not pandemic time. Right now, they do most of their training online because, the whole social distancing thing makes it hard to travel. So they're the ones, when we did our car race, they brought the track for us and the computer. They did the announcing, and they helped us with that. They also helped to teach your leaders how to teach Awana. When we were a brand new club, we had no idea what we're doing, and we're still constantly learning. And our missionaries, Mark and Pat, help us with that. So you can pray for your missionary. Now you know what they look like. You can also write a letter to your missionary. Tell the missionary something about yourself and about your Sparks Club. Draw pictures or even include photos if you'd like. They love those. And tell the missionary, Mark and Pat DeCoy, that you prayed for them. You can send your letter to me, and I will make sure they get it. The address is on your screen for Baptist Fellowship. So I want you to mail it to Mark and Pat DeCoy, CO, that means in care of Baptist Fellowship of Columbia, 195 Route 6, Columbia, Connecticut, 06237. This is a good time to practice your skills at addressing envelopes. To finish this section, pray for your Awana missionary, Mr. and Mrs. DeCoy. Write a letter to them and give it to your leader. Mail it to the address that I told you. And when you're done, have your grown-up helper sign your handbook. There's no new Bible verses to learn in this section, but we'll do some in the next section. All right? Let's move on.
My Sparks leader told me that missionaries can work in many different places. Some work close to home and others work far away. Wherever they are, they spend their time helping people learn about Jesus.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Ha ha, Joel. For the first time, I know something you don't. And I know something else, too.
What's that?
I know the names of at least 3 missionaries from the Bible.
There were missionaries in Bible times?
Oh yeah, our next Bible biographies tell us how it all started. Philip and Peter told people about Jesus in the lands close to their church in Jerusalem. And the Apostle Paul went to faraway lands to tell people about Jesus.
Looks like I should start reading my Bible biographies. Thanks for the lesson, Jacob.
Missionaries tell people about Jesus. You can do the work of a missionary too. Say the Sparks key verse, John 3:16. It's on page 3 of your handbook. To 2 people who need to hear about Jesus. People who aren't from your home, your club, or your church. Maybe some friends from school who might have never heard the verse before. Write each person's name and the date you said the verse on the lines below in your handbook. Your parent should sign on the last line to show that you completed the activity.
Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes.
Let's say that verse together now. Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes. Ashamed means embarrassed, and salvation means being freed forever from the punishment of sin. Remember, awana means approved workmen are not ashamed. We're not embarrassed to tell people the good news about Jesus. To finish this section, say John 3:16 to the two people and say Romans 1:16 to your grown-up helper. Have them sign your handbook and don't forget to complete your weekly check-in. I'll see you next week.